Today, I will be attempting to kill every single zombie in the Rosewood Prison with only my fists. Can I do it? Maybe, but you're gonna have to watch to find out. We did a lot of runs in this challenge. Most of said runs all ended in disaster, but some were pretty good. Run number 3 ended up with 111 kills before dying. And this run here got even more before dying of dehydration. Yeah, crazy, right? And what remains is run number 20. After many hours, I was so sick of this challenge. But this run, it went well. So let's go ahead and get into it. Run number 20 started once again in the wonderful town of Rosewood. I immediately ran out of the house. I knew what I needed to do from my experience in my failed runs. I ran straight to the fire station to grab food, water, and protection. On the way, I came across my first group of zombies, which after a while of punching, I dealt with them quite handily. I even got a duffel bag as a reward. And a little laceration. But that's okay. In the fire station, I grabbed some tools for construction, some water bottles, protection, medical supplies, and food. Wanting to heal up from my laceration, I stayed a couple nights in the fire station, wanting to be in my best fighting shape. On the 3rd day of the run, I was finally healed up and ready to start. My next goal was to get a working car and finally head to the prison. So I gathered up my supplies, figured out that the water was already turned off, and then set out. At the police station, I found a shoddy Chevalier Dart with quite a bad engine, but it worked. I loaded up with some of my essentials, but realized that I was gonna need way more food and water to survive this run. So I decided to head to the local convenience store to stock up on food and water. I got into some fist fights along the way, but those were handled quite quickly. After making my way into the store, I grabbed a lot of junk food. It wasn't the best, but it would tide me over until I could start a farm. I then found a good amount of water bottles in the fridge and took them with me. On the way back, I socked a couple of Zeds in the face, then set up my car against a nearby van to sleep safely. After waking up the next day, I set out on the road to the prison. There were a lot of zombies at the front of it, so I knew I couldn't fight all of them at once. So I ended up leading the group into the woods, and then I would sneak up and take smaller groups out of it to deal with. After a while, I eventually cleared the whole group out. I then took my Chevalier Dart to the watchtower that I wanted to base up in. I took my loot out and organized it into the boxes that I found in the tower. After that, I headed back down to the armory to clear more Zeds, taking them down one by one. Getting closer to the prison, all of the zombies spawned inside of the building, terrifying me with the numbers. They all spawned. Oh no, no, no. They spawned in. It's not even in the back area. Oh, I'm so fucked. Throughout the rest of the day, I cleared the rest of the parking lot and the outer fence area. Deciding to begin the prison clearing from the back, I traveled the fence line until reaching said back. After killing a couple of bundles of zombies, I made my way into what seemed to be a laundry room supply closet. I grabbed some bleach bottles to pour out for water, and then I saw that the door to the supposed laundry room was getting hit by what sounded like a lot of zombies. So I retreated out of the enclosed space to wait for them to break out from a safe distance. Once they finally broke down the door, I began clearing the group out. After a while, I eventually killed all of the zombies that were inside of the laundry room. I even found some cigarettes on a zombie, which I was ecstatic for. I then filled up my bottles with as much water as I could with what was left in the sink. I then began to let zombies into the room in small groups for me to take out. Eventually, though, I ended up really tired and decided to call it for a day back at the tower. The next day, I woke up to a deep fog, and not wanting to risk it, I waited for a few hours for it to clear. After it was finally clear, I restocked my bag with food and water before heading out for more punching. Getting close to the armory, I decided it was safer to try to clear them out now rather than letting them sit there for any longer. So after hours and hours of relentless fisting, punching, every single zombie in the armory had perished. Besides these 2 zombies underneath the staircase that I named Jack and Daniel. I began grabbing furniture and planks to barricade the armory's path to the main prison, to make it safer in the armory. But after a bit of barricading, I ran out of wood. With the new need for wood, the need for food, and the ever-growing want of seeds to start a farm, I decided it best to make a run to Rosewood for just that. I hopped into my Chevalier Dart and hit the road, running to a massive amount of Zeds in the way. Driving past them, I made it to some houses on the other side of Rosewood, hoping to find some seeds. I parked the car in front of a house that literally had crop plots behind it, but after knocking a few teeth out of some Zeds and finally checking the house and shed, I was disappointed to find that there were no seeds to be found. This trend was followed for the nearby houses as well. I checked the Project Zomboid map, and my new idea was to go check some farmhouses nearby Rosewood. Such a splendid idea, right? Why wouldn't a farmhouse have seeds? It was a perfect plan. Until everything went wrong. Zombies were everywhere, houses were burnt down, absolutely 0 seeds were found, and worst of all, as I was heading back to the prison to get some sleep, because I was not gonna fight a lot of zombies while tired, not only did my car run out of gas, but zombies were once again everywhere nearby. I had to ditch the car and then run through the forest as fast as I could, trying to make it back to the prison and back to salvation. Eventually, I finally did get out of the forest and was able to actually get some rest inside of a dump truck. Everything seemed fine the next day. It was a bit rainy, sure, but it was fine. I decided to try to forage for seeds and spent a few hours doing that. But then once again, things went from okay to horrible. I was just minding my business foraging, only for the helicopter to show up to ruin my day. It's helicopter day. It's helicopter day. I had no idea what to do. I had no car, and there was way too many zombies to deal with using only my hands. So I made the quick decision to run away from the prison and try to lure zombies away from it. On the other side of the woods, I began screaming, trying to lure them away from the prison and the nearby farmlands. I looped and looped over and over, getting as many as I could together. I was doing good. I was gonna get these idiots away from my turf. But then I made a mistake. I got too close to a zombie I was passing and he bit me, which not only hurt like hell, but also almost made me get devoured by the horde. I finally heard the helicopter fly away, but it was too late. I was already doomed. I ran back to the prison through the woods, just trying to see what progress I had lost due to this damned helicopter pilot. I arrived back at the prison to see zombies all throughout the courtyard. More than were even there to begin with. My work was gone, reduced to shreds by these creatures. And I was just done. Done with these zombies, done with this prison, done with this challenge. I would never recover, so I gave up. Joelle Ventura was amazing, but her time was up. She screamed at the zombies, screamed for what they took from her world, her family, and now her life. She gave herself to the horde, wanting the whole experience to just end. I didn't make this decision, Joelle did. She finally gained some control over her own life, even though it ended in her death. Rest in peace, Joelle Ventura. You will be sincerely missed. Oh, and rest in peace to the other 19 dead survivors in the challenge.